I used to train hard, but my diet, it was either way too much or barely anything. Ever since I started going to the gym, I struggled with food. I'd restrict way too much and then go off track. It's taken me years to find balance, and honestly, I'm still figuring it out. That's why today I've asked my friend Bally, who's a dietitian, to help me look at my current cutting diet. Okay, so I'm back with Bally again now, and we're gonna run through my diet. And I made a few changes after last time speaking with him and doing my body fat and all that. But now I'm gonna go through it with him, and he's just gonna make any adjustments to it that needed to be made just to make me healthier and just feel better about myself, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely. Looking forward to chatting actually.
Yeah.
It'll be good, yeah.
Start my days, I just get hydrated, about 1.5 litres of water.
Yeah.
And then I get electrolytes in 7-Eleven. I still need to show you them, but it's just a packet of electrolytes. Throw that in, get hydrated, and I don't eat my first meal till about 10 a.m.
Yeah.
So yesterday, this is all my meals from yesterday, as I said before. First meal I had 5 eggs, 2 slices of sourdough bread, and 50 grams of avocado. So I'll pop up on the screen my macros of how I broke it down, and Bally will explain now if it's good or bad. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, firstly, wouldn't say good or bad. I think as dietitian, it's kind of like we try to avoid kind of giving that judgment on food because context is matter. Context is what's most important at all of the time. I think the first thing you said is you have your first meal at 10 o'clock. Why is that?
I don't like eating straight. I used to eat at 7, 8 a.m.
Yeah.
But I felt like when I wait and I work in the morning earlier, I feel like I work better. I don't know. I just have a coffee after about 1.5 hours getting up, and then I don't know. When I get too full, I just feel like I'm lazy or whatever.
Yeah, interesting. I think everyone's different. Everyone has like different lifestyles and patterns. It's good that you have breakfast. Not to say good, but it's positive that you have breakfast because a lot of people would skip breakfast thinking that they don't need it, but it's such an important meal in the day. And often when you skip breakfast, you end up either eating more or feeling more lethargic later on in the evening, is what the data shows. So you end up compensating for missing a meal in the morning by eating later in the day and having a bigger meal and not feeling as satisfied. And often we see changes in energy levels as well. So that's really positive. I think, so what I did was, guys, for your reference was, Mark tracks his calories in MyFitnessPal, then I've just got like a more industrial version of it, which then gives me a breakdown of his vitamins, minerals, fiber, polyunsaturated, saturated fats, carbohydrates, proteins, and then he does it per meal, but I'm kind of just going to look at it over the day because it's just like a 24-hour snapshot. Whereas if maybe we had a 1 week, I could do like an average of what we'd do. I've also got my own little, I sound like Jeff Niffbod, but like a macro calculator, but it's just for me to just run numbers, like to get estimates. Obviously when we're looking at energy, calories, protein, it's just an estimate of what we're trying to do, and to get as close to the true value as you can. And the most important thing is having a similar diet and having a wide range of foods through the whole week. So I'm going to kind of compare what he's having to versus what I think he should be aiming for through the week or through the day. And then kind of talk through your diet a little bit, what you had as well, Okay. Cool. What do you want to start with then?
Meal 1 is 5 eggs, 2 slices of bread, and 50 grams of avocado.
Yeah, nice. So what do you think was positive about your breakfast? What do you think? What drives you to that breakfast? Does it make you feel full?
High protein makes me feel full. I think eggs have good nutrients from what I've read and seen. Good fats, good protein. I think it's a good balance of everything, really.
Yeah. I agree. I think it's got a little bit of carbohydrates, a little bit of protein, some healthy fats in there. I think it misses the bit of fiber and a bit more vitamins and minerals that we could get in that morning breakfast. So with your eggs, I'd be thinking, okay, so avocado is like a good source of fiber, but not top tier. I'd be thinking, with my eggs, can I get some spinach? Can I get some bell peppers? Can I have a little bit of a side salad with it? Even having a small amount of juice in the morning, like 150 mils of orange juice, just to get the extra vitamin C in the morning as well. Or making a small fruit smoothie, again 150 mils, would be a nice portion size. It'd increase a little bit of your carbohydrate intake for the day, which is a positive thing for how active you are, and being in a hot environment, because we're just at higher intensity all the time. When you're in a really hot, humid environment, it will help with your hydration as well, getting some liquid calories in, and make you feel that less fullness that you're having if you have too big of a meal. but then also a good way to get those extra vitamins and minerals in. Because one of the biggest things I found through his diet through the whole day was actually, because of the type of fruit and veggies having, is really low in vitamin C, and we'll talk about that with your other meals as well. But yeah, otherwise it's quite a balanced breakfast, but I'll definitely try and add in one extra portion of fruit or veg with that meal. I try to say aim for 2 to 3 portions of fruit and veg per meal. Mark's 90 kg, super active, super lean and super fit, you know, so I'm thinking of him, he's not your average guy. He's not somebody that I would think, he just needs to hit 5 a day, just needs to have 2 liters of water a day, just needs to hit maintenance calories all the time. He's somebody that actually, with the right nutrition, we can massively improve his performance and push him and keep pushing him. And that's the kind of way I think about it. I think if you were maybe my size and my height, I'd be like, probably just making a small few tweaks, but with yourself, like, we can defo push the boundaries a bit and push it to the max.
Yeah, that's what I'm planning to do now, because I've never worked with a dietitian ever before, even a personal trainer really, like, so it's good to get insight, because as I said, I'm not qualified in any of this. I've just learned all my stuff online.
I mean, self-taught's the best way to learn what works for you, and then once you've got to, but then at some point, it's like with anything, you know, it's like you end up bottlenecking. Like at some point your knowledge will be a limiting factor to you progressing to the next level. I think that's just how it goes. Everyone's self-taught to the next step, then you're like, okay, I need to learn a little bit more now. So who can I get advice from? Then it's just trying to it's like getting shit's like bad business advice versus good business advice, and it's same with nutrition.
That's it.
Everyone has different philosophy, approach, and knowledge and experience.
So not a bad breakfast.
Nah, it's decent.
All right, so then meal 2 is my kind of pre-workout meal, and I have 60 grams of oats, a scoop of whey isolate, a banana, 20 grams of granola just for a bit of crunch. No, it's probably not the healthiest. 15 grams of almond butter, and then I added 10 grams of chia seeds as well, because he told me last day to up my fibre, so I've been listening, like. But what do you think of that for a pre-workout meal?
Yeah, I think it would have been interesting to see your diet before I spoke to you last and see that because his fiber's probably gone from like 10 grams to about 40 grams.
Definitely, yeah, so you got to take that into consideration as well.
I think it's class pre-workout meal, mainly because it's got a good amount of carbohydrates in there. But I think you could have more.
Oh, actually, I forgot to put it, I had 50 grams of dates.
Yeah, fair. Yeah.
But then I was thinking also, is there too much sugar in dates?
Not because you're having it as a pre-workout meal, and I wouldn't look at dates as just a sugar, like it's obviously it's got vitamins and minerals in there, and think of it, it's a bit of a sugar and it's fast acting carbs, but when you go into workout and you're banging out those reps, you want a bit of energy and you want to saturate your muscle. You also got to think of how much carbs you're having per your kilogram of body weight. For you, having 100 grams of carbs before a workout is only having 1 gram per kilogram of body weight, because you're a big chap. Whereas for me, if I had 100 grams of carb, I'm having nearly 2 grams of, because I'm only 60 kg.
Okay, yeah.
You with me? So in context, a meal for you is not really a lot.
Yeah.
The size of your leg will probably deal with that, you know, and the amount of glycogen you store in your liver and your leg, it's probably enough, like.
Yeah.
And the amount of energy you use just walking. So for me, it's like, when I look at nutrition, the only thing is when you learn online, sometimes you learn restriction first. You learn, what shall I not have? But then when you learn from more science view, it's what can I add in? How can I make more? What can I put in more? So for yourself, is for a pre-workout meal, I'm probably thinking, maybe an hour before then, could I have an extra banana or another piece of fruit? You know, especially for an intense session. Maybe if you're having an intense gym session, a HIIT session, or a Muay Thai session where your heart rate's quite high and you're working really hard, I'd be thinking, aim of the exercise is to get the most out of the most adaptation from the session. So for you to get the most adaptation, you want to be working as hard as possible in the session for you to get the most out of it. For you to be able to work the hardest, you're going to need the most fuel and energy. So it's then thinking, okay, so how much can I add in that without it impairing? And then your evening meal would then be, okay, how can I recover from this now? You with me? Yeah. But again, it was probably a good workout, probably a good meal. I'd probably thinking, could I have a little bit more? Could I have another bit of extra fruit? I think being in such a hot country and like nice climate where we get fresh fruit and a lot of fruit that's high in vitamin C and carbohydrates, pineapples, mangoes, watermelon, it's hydrating, high in vitamins and minerals, and easily accessible, and it's refreshing as well in this environment, and it's an easy win. I think it goes with all your meals well.
With the carbs, I just feel like I think everyone does.
Yeah.
You're going to put on fat
Yeah,
if you eat too many carbs. Like,
Yeah,
'cause in the
first.
past, when I didn't really know, well, I know a lot more now. I'm not
Yeah.
saying I know everything, but I used to cut my carbs to nothing really when I was trying to lose weight. Like,
Yeah.
you've no energy, you lose strength, you lose everything.
Yeah.
But now I've actually kept my carbs higher for a cut, basically, a small
Yeah.
cut, and I feel like, and you're saying I can actually eat more than this, like, but will I
Yeah.
not get fat then as well? Like,
The main reasons we often gain weight is one, we're in an energy surplus. Where the energy surplus comes from, so by energy I mean calories.
Yeah.
Where that calorie surplus comes from doesn't necessarily dictate where you put on the fat.
Yeah.
A lot of how you store fat is mainly down to genetic, yeah? So like South Asian men tend to store a lot more fat and visceral fat, they're just more genetically predisposed to it. Whereas more Caucasian and Europeans tend to store fat more around their hips and have better genetics in terms of how lean they can get. Again, I'll refer it back to you as personal advice, but you're super active. So you're training maybe 2 to 3 hours a day on average, activity-wise, I would say. You're doing maybe 10 to 20K steps a day, and you've got a very low body fat percentage already, quite lean, at between, even if you say an average 10 to 12%, but your sum of skin folds for 6 was about 50 mil, which is like levels of, for a 90 kg athlete, is levels of maybe close to top 5%. So the amount of carbs you eat, I would base it more off the type of activity you're doing.
Yeah.
Carbohydrate recommendations are huge. So let's go into the different types of recommendations. So a keto diet is less than 50 grams of carb a day, yeah? So for you, that's less than 0.5 gram per kilogram of body weight. That's nothing. A low carbohydrate diet would be about less than 120 grams a day, which is for you is about 1 gram per kilogram of body weight. Average recommendations are between 1 to 5 gram per kilogram body weight. An athlete would go between 6 gram to 12 gram of carbohydrate on a very high day, a very intense day. Let's say you're prepping for a high rocks, let's say you're prepping for a Spartan ultra endurance. Probably seeing how much I can push it, you know, loading you up before, seeing how much we can go on the day and training you got for that to be able to manage that level of carbohydrate. For your maintenance days, on your average days where you're training once a day, you want to go moderate carb, which is between 2 to 5 gram per kilogram. So what does that actually look like? So you're 100 kilogram, yeah? Well, let's say 90. If I just do moderate at 3 gram per kilogram, that's 270 grams of carbohydrate a day.
That's what I'm eating now.
Which is roughly what you're eating, which is, I think, is spot on. Then the days that you're more active, I would probably go, so we went to play paddle the other day, and then he went gym in the evening. And that day I'd probably go to 4 gram per kilogram body weight, or 5, which would be, for yourself, nearly an extra 100 gram of carb. 100 gram of carb sounds like a lot, but you're using it for energy and your body will use it. See now, if you ate maybe 6 gram per kilogram of carb per day, that could be an extra 300, 400 calories per day. If you did that every single day, you might gain a little bit of extra fat. A little bit of extra stored energy. If you just did it on the days that you're more active, you're gonna use it for performance.
Sorry, interrupting.
Go
but
on.
if you eat less carbs, though, will it not use your fat for energy then to burn your fat? No, or is that a myth?
I mean, personally, I think it's more of a myth. I think you tap into your fat stores when you're in energy deficit. You can, ultra endurance and marathon athletes will train to be fat adapted, at a very elite level. And they will do periods where they train, maybe in high altitude, or they will train ultra endurance, and they will have very high fat diets. Because when you're training an ultra endurance event, you want your body to be able to utilize the fat stores for long lasting energy. And then they will then top up with the carbohydrates to keep their sugars at a certain level so they can maximize their energy. So it comes more down to a biological adaptation. So you can train your body to become a little bit more fat adapted, and that might be during periods of low carbohydrate intake. But you kind of you want to think of your body like a hybrid engine. So you know how, like, you know, the new BMWs and the Mercedes, where you've got petrol and you got the electric, and they switch between the two. You kind of want your body to be able to handle both. There's no point restricting. You want your body to be able to, if I give it some sugar, you want your body to be able to use it for the right thing. And then when I don't give it the sugar, I want it to be able to use the fat and protein for recovery and rebuilding at the right time. You're most likely going to get fat from when you do over a long period of time. Like, you don't get fat overnight. Yeah, you're not just gaining weight overnight.
I think I do as well.
And if you do, one, it's hydration. Yeah, like elite boxers, they will chop and change weight between 5 to 7% of their body weight just on fight week.
Yeah.
You know, I think Leon Edwards drops like 20 pounds on fight week and then rehydrates and goes back up.
Yeah.
You know, it's a bit dangerous to do that much, but when you're in the ring, you want to be as heavy as you can when you're punching that guy to knock him out. Body weight is just an arbitrary number, so you can manipulate it however much you want to an extent. I wouldn't be afraid of increasing nutrition and knowing that you're doing the amount of activity that you're doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Sound
that
good?
sounds good.
Yeah.
So my post-gym meal then is 200 grams of chicken, 165 grams of rice with some of the old El Paso seasoning, 15 grams of almonds, 75 grams of frozen veg, and 120 grams of chickpeas. Yeah. Just to let you know as well, like I wouldn't have had the frozen veg or I wouldn't have had the chickpeas in 2 weeks ago. I was eating just carbs and protein really and a bit of fat. So I've added this in after speaking with Bally about more fibre and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So how was that meal for?
Yeah, I think it's a big win, and it's got the best thing about the meal is you've got 2 different types of fibre source.
Yeah.
So the chickpeas, I'm sweating now, it's so hot.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
So the chickpeas provide protein, and they provide a lot of fibre, which your gut bacteria loves to thrive on. So fibre is important because the different types of fibre. So basically when your food, digestion starts in your mouth, for those who don't know. It starts, as soon as you start eating, you produce some digestive enzymes in your mouth, which help you start absorbing some of that food and some sugars through your mouth. That's why like sweets give you a quick burst, because you chew them. Sugar goes straight into your bloodstream, and then you get a quick burst of energy. Like you have those dextrose gels and stuff like that. It's a big win, yeah? Then it passes down your food pipe, and then it goes into your stomach where it's neutralized by the stomach acid. Then passes into your small bowel and then goes through your large bowel. In your small bowel and large bowel, you have lots of bacteria that almost ferment the food that we eat. The more good bacteria we have in there, and the more fuel we provide for that bacteria in the form of short chain fatty acids, the more benefits we get as a host. So it's almost like creating a nice home environment for the food that you eat. So then you eat it and it welcomes it, gets all the good stuff out. It helps you absorb all the vitamins and minerals. If you've got inflammation in your gut, can be caused by a variety of different things. Your body doesn't absorb the vitamins and minerals as well. So like you could be eating 70 grams of fibre a day, but if you had some inflammation or an infection, or more you're living with like an inflammatory bowel condition, because you've got that inflammation, your body's not absorbing all those vitamins and minerals and you just kind of pooing them out anyway. Yeah. But when you're living well and you're eating for health and performance, you want to get as much of the fibre in to create that good host. To one, keep your immune function strong, but also I'm giving you all this fuel, giving you 3,000 calories a day. I want you to be able to absorb that and use it in the right places. So that's the main reason in getting fibre in. The reason that we say to aim for a rainbow, you've got to be a little bit diverse, unfortunately, pushing agendas with your fruit and veggies, because so each different fruit and veg has different properties. So like more of your red fruit and veg has more polyphenols. Your carrots have like vitamin A and beta carotene in there. Your green veg has more like your vitamin K and some of your B vitamins for energy as well. So you kind of want to aim for green, red, purple, yellow through the whole week and range through the whole week, just so your body's getting used to kind of having the wide ranging amounts. Then you can add in stuff like nuts, seeds and legumes. So your chickpeas, your almonds, pumpkin seeds, chia seeds, which help to add that bulk. So when you've got to think you want to add some osmotic volume. So when you have some food, you draw in water into your gut as well. So that helps the stool pass. And then it's the seeds and the nuts and the legumes that help form that bulk. So you get a nice sausage poo. Like the shape of like the emoji shape basically. So that's why I kind of told Mark to increase his fibre, because I think it would massively improve his performance but also improve his gut health as well. So it's big win. So yeah, I think the only thing I would change is again, you're a big chap, so you've had 75 grams of veg. I'd probably up it to about 120 grams. Yeah, easy win. Because again, like your veg is also a small source of carbohydrate as well. I remember that like fibre is a source of carbohydrate. So when you're thinking about carbohydrate sources, you're thinking your starchy veg, so your white rice, your pasta, your sweet potato, your breads, your crackers, your flapjacks, oats. But then you're also thinking, all right, I'm getting some carbohydrates from like my beetroot, my cucumber, my tomatoes. You're getting a little bit of energy from these foods as well. Yeah. You're still manipulating, you're still getting enough. It's just changing the proportions a bit. So yeah, I'll just add in a little bit more there. I think you're getting the gist of the conversation is I'm just adding in a bit more fibre and veg, and more colourful stuff each time.
It would have been a lot more, as I said 2 weeks ago, but I took, and I've noticed the difference as well. Like even my skin, I have bad skin, as you know, for ages, and it's starting to clear up a bit. It's probably from adding fibre in to get more nutrients in my skin and stuff like that, is it, you think?
Maybe, yeah. Like,
could be a pair factor anyway. Like.
Yeah, I would never try to say, it's very hard in nutrition to say like this is a direct result of nutrition, but I would say that it's adding more fibre is going to have more positive than negative, so it could be a big factor. Yeah. We will know after the test of time.
One big reason why I wasn't eating veg a lot was buying it fresh and having to do all that. But you said it's fine, buy the frozen veg, you can just throw that into the pan. It takes 2 minutes, or else there's microwave one as well. It takes 2 minutes, throw it into the pan, mix it all up, and it tastes good as well still. So yeah, frozen veg is one, if you're lazy to buy veg like me, and if it goes off in your fridge, just stick to that because it's quite handy. So final meal then was, I just like something sweet before I go to bed sometimes. So I had 120 grams of Greek yogurt and a scoop of whey isolate. Probably should have added some berries here. I didn't have any berries last night, but...
Yeah, I'd add some frozen berries or kiwis. Kiwis are high in like tryptophan and polyphenols. Same with cherries, blueberries, strawberries. Super expensive in Thailand though. Kiwis are decent price because they come from Australia.
Okay.
So go into Tops and stuff, you get a decent veg of kiwis for a decent price.
Yeah.
And kiwis help with your bowel movement as well, and you've got loves of kiwi in terms of the polyphenols and the fatty acids it produces as well. I think big win. I think what I would do is the type of yogurt you use, could you swap to like a fermented or probiotic yogurt? Like a live culture. The reason for that is two things that you're missing from your diet now is one, a range of fruit and veg through the whole week. So you're not getting any red fruit and veg like beetroot, berries, and you're not getting enough greens. So spinach, kale, broccoli, peas. Probably need to have a portion of these each day. And then a portion of your red stuff each day, beetroot, berries, each day as well, just to make sure you're getting a wide range. The second thing after that is fermented food. So, do you know what fermented food is and where it comes from? So fermented food is how you make sourdough, it's how you make kimchi, sauerkraut, probiotic live yogurts. What it is when you ferment a food, you get a live enzyme or probiotic culture, and you let it kind of grow without going too much into the science. Basically, you've got love for these because you've got to feed off, and it helps that ratio of positive bacteria versus negative bacteria in your gut, almost better than what the fiber can do as well. So it's a really big thing that we can add into our diet. And you get different types now. You can get a food first approach, which is adding those foods I talked about into your diet. And then now you get a lot more supplements. So you get like things like Yakult have live bacteria in them.
Downstairs, I've seen that.
Yeah. Or you can get like clinical probiotics now for people who are living with like a gut condition. Some certain strains of probiotics at the right amount in the right formulation can help improve clinical outcomes as well. So people who have IBS, some people who have skin conditions, some people are living with like celiac disease or other gut conditions, having the right formulate of probiotic can make a big difference as well. So it's two things from a health and performance perspective is the next way I'll go with yourself to add into your diet is more range through the week and some fermented and probiotic foods as well, and give it a go is where I'd go. And then the third thing is can we put more petrol in the engine?
Yeah.
Do you get me on those days that you're pushing?
I kind of always knew I needed to be fair, I get a smoothie made up downstairs every few days, and I always knew I needed to eat veg, but I didn't realize how important eating veg was. I was like, what a waste of time and money, because it is quite expensive over here for vegetables.
If you buy their local veg, or when you buy their curries, it's all right. Like their local veg is cheap.
But then the supermarkets and stuff, it's expensive.
Yeah.
So I always kind of knew I needed to incorporate more of that, so now I'm kind of actively doing it. The carbs is another one, because I am training a load here, I'm sweating a load, I am staying hydrated all the time. But yeah, if I could, maybe we can do for the next while, I'll bump up my calories 500 or whatever, and the days that I'm training hard, and then we can see how my body reacts and how my performance is.
I think the approach I normally take when I work with people is I categorize their days into a heavy day, a moderate day, and a light day.
Yeah.
And we can talk about that. So like a heavy day might be a day when you walk into paddle, you do an hour and a half of paddle, and then you're walking back, and then you might go and do an hour's gym session in the evening, like you're training twice a day, quite active, hot environment. I'd say that's quite a heavy day. A light day might be when you just go and do a strength session in the gym and you're doing your 10K steps for you. That might be a light day. So what we could say is, okay, so on your heavy days, gotta go get your smoothie from Drinks Corner, mango passion fruit, and a scoop of whey protein in there. But then on the light day, you skip it out and you just reduce your carb portion, but you double your veg portion on your plate. And see how that goes, and then give that a go for a couple of days. But we can do more of a personalized approach. The other thing I didn't speak about actually is supplements. So when we spoke last, I told you to increase your creatine dose, didn't I? How have you found that?
Good, yeah. I always saw online that if you have any more than 5 grams of creatine, you just piss it out. But it does make sense. Like if you're taking the same amount of creatine as I'm taking,
double the size.
Yeah, so it doesn't make sense. So I've up to 10 grams. Yeah, I feel good as well. Recovery feels good.
For your viewers, like, because I'm guessing you got a big fitness community, creatine dosage dependent on your weight as well. So there's the average dose of 5 grams for most performance athletes, where the research is. But a lot of elite athletes and boxers and footballers will maybe have between 10 and 20 grams all the way through camp or through season. Some now new research, maybe it's more in a clinical population, called relative dosing. So you know how you do your protein, you do like 2.2 gram per gram body weight. They do the same with creatine now, so it's 0.1 gram per kilogram body weight. So if Mark's 90 kg, that's 9 grams. You with me? So it's positive. It's a good thing that you can handle it in your body. You're a big chap and you've got to push, man. You want to give as much in as we can without changing too much. And we'll check your weights, but actually what will be a better thing is upping your energy and checking your skin folds. Because your weight will change just on how hydrated and how full you are, and how your glycogen levels and how saturated you are. So, but if we check your body fat using the skin folds, you'll see that actually you're not getting no fat at all. It'll be roughly the same. Yeah,
so I want to try to put on a bit of size now for the remainder of the year. So about 9 months of slowly kind of, because I've bulked and cut in the past, but I want to just put on size slowly. Like I've cut now slowly, I want to do the same, but opposite. So yeah, we might put a plan together and see how that goes. But my overall diet isn't the worst, but I'm always open to hearing what people have to say as well and giving critiquing a bit.
I think your diet is like to a textbook bodybuilding diet would be like proper discipline, proper professional. I think that's important. Like I think when people do stuff online, they're not professional with it and they don't apply concept like you said. You've gone through the phases of in and out, but you've kind of found a balanced approach that works for you. You've stuck to it consistently. If you were changing every week, there's no point. It doesn't really matter what diet you do or what you chose or what you followed.
It's the same with the gym though. Like I've said this before, I used to flip between programs every 2 or 3 weeks when you see one online. But if you stick one at 12 weeks, do progressive overload, it's the same shit, right? So I'll pop all Bally's links down in the description. If you want to get in touch with him, he's just starting up his new page now. And he's giving this advice to people if you want to get in plans, or if you have any questions for him, feel free, and I'll pop it down below. So thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.